Hi guys, I'm Heidi and welcome to my channel. I actually filmed a wrap-up for this channel and then I decided that I'd rather just chat with you guys. I had a very successful reading month in September. I finished like 16 books, but then I realized that I don't actually have that much to say about them all. So I will not be talking about all of them. I will mention a few of them, but this is not going to be super in-depth. So it's going to be a very chatty video, so we'll see how it goes. A super exciting thing happened in September. I joined a book club. It's called the Genre Raiders Book Club, and it is hosted by Chris over at Chris Bookish Cauldron and Jessica over at Jessica Reads Things. The idea behind the book club is to read a book from a different genre each month. And it only just launched in September, and I feel like it's already been a huge success. There are so many wonderful people in the book club, and we've already had some amazing discussions. So I'm very, very pleased that I decided to join. I've also never been in a book club before, so I'm very excited. So the theme for September was science fiction. I'm definitely more of a fantasy reader. I will read a sci-fi occasionally, but not nearly as much as fantasy, so I was very happy with that. And I actually managed to finish 4 sci-fi books, so that was actually quite amazing. I finished Leviathan Wakes by James S. J. Corey, which is the first book in the Expanse series. I also finished Recursion by GROUCH, A Memory Called Empire by Arkady Martine, and The Martian by Andy Weir. I actually really enjoyed Leviathan Wakes. It's exactly the type of space opera that I enjoy. I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, so it gave me massive Mass Effect vibes. So I was really happy with that. I think the story was actually quite good as well, so I'm definitely going to keep reading the series. Recursion is a really good time travel story, so if you like time travel, just go for it. The story really, it centers around memory. There is a case in New York or actually all over the US, where people start waking up with memories of lives that they actually haven't lived. And then there's a police officer called Barry and a neuroscientist called Helena who are trying to make sense of it all. So yes, it's cleverly written. I enjoyed it a lot. A Memory Called Empire was the book club pick for September. And it was a bit of a mixed success for me. I actually started reading this back in June or July, and I ended up DNFing it at the time because I wasn't really hugely impressed with the writing or the characters or really the plot. But once the discussions got going in the book club, I decided to pick it up again, and I actually finished it this time. And I did enjoy the world building. I wasn't too impressed with some of the plot points, which didn't make sense to me, and I felt like the book was generally lacking in character development. But all in all, it wasn't a bad read by any means, and I haven't really decided if I want to pick up the sequel. I might. We'll see how it goes. And The Martian is, I mean, it was everywhere some years ago, and I started reading it back when it first came out. And I DNF'd it at that time because I wasn't really into the writing too much. I didn't really enjoy the humor at the time. I felt like there was too much science going on that went over my head a little bit, so it felt a bit boring. But this time around I actually really enjoyed it. I think I gave it like 3 stars, so it wasn't like my favorite read of all time or anything, but it was a lovely fun positive read. So I would definitely, if there is anyone out there who hasn't read this yet, then I would actually recommend it. So yeah, I'm generally very pleased with how this month turned out in terms of sci-fi. Apart from sci-fi, there are also 3 other books that I would like to mention. So one of those books is called Small Spaces by Katherine Arden. Katherine Arden is well known for her The Winter Night trilogy, which I haven't actually read, but I'm definitely going to. But Small Spaces is a middle grade novel, and in hindsight I probably should have read this in October, because it is the perfect Halloween read. It's like a creepy, spooky middle grade story, and it follows a young girl called Ollie who has recently lost her mother. So she's grieving and she's dealing with her grief by reading a lot of books. One day she stumbles upon a woman who is trying to get rid of a book by throwing it into the river. Ollie goes and recovers the book. Starts reading it, and then some spooky stuff starts happening. So Ollie goes on a field trip with her classmates to a local farm, and then some weird stuff starts happening there, and then on their way back the bus breaks down, no one can get service on their phones, and Ollie's watch displays a message which says "run," and the bus driver gives Ollie and her new friends a warning saying that they should keep to small spaces. I feel like if you like Stranger Things and if you like middle grade, then this is a lovely, lovely read. It's got a lot of heart. It's spooky, but not too creepy. I think I would say that Stranger Things is probably like a level above this. It's not as creepy as Stranger Things, but it would be perfect for middle grade readers. And it's got this lovely, lovely autumn vibe. And I am a huge seasonal reader, so I enjoy this so much. So I would definitely recommend this. I also finished The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. I was going to read this for Victober, and then I enjoyed it so much that I ended up finishing it. So yeah, that happened. I was very, very impressed with the writing. I feel like if you generally like Victorian novels, you will probably love this one. It's got really, really long descriptions. So if that's your thing, then go for it. Wilkie Collins does it beautifully. I loved the characters. I feel like the villain, or one of the villains at least, is one of the most interesting villains I've read in fiction in general, like of all time. I just love the character, and then it's also like vaguely feminist at times, which is quite extraordinary for a male writer from the 19th century. So yeah, I was really, really loving it. Like, I think I gave it 5 stars, and I generally usually don't give books 5 stars that often at all. So yeah, I ended up loving it. And I also wanted to mention I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Iain Reid, which was such a weird read that I just had to mention it. I actually saw the trailer for the movie on Netflix, and it seemed strange and spooky. So yeah, I was kind of like, thinking about watching the movie, but then I figured out that it's a book. So naturally, I decided to read the book first, and it's a kind of like a psychological horror book, I guess. It is extremely unsettling. It's an uncomfortable read, and then you will like finish the book and be like, what did I just read? The premise of the story is easy enough. There's a woman who goes with her boyfriend to meet his parents, who live on a secluded farm, and they arrive at the parents' house, and then she discovers that something is wrong. Things aren't what they seem. So yeah, I just had to mention it because it has to be one of the weirdest things I've read in a long time. So yeah, these are the books that I really wanted to mention from September. I'm currently reading Gideon the Ninth by Tamsyn Muir. I'm like more than halfway through, and I am enjoying it. It's the kind of book that kind of throws you into the world building and explains absolutely nothing. So you will read like 2 or 3 chapters and you will understand nothing. But then once it gets going, the story is actually not particularly complicated. It's basically just a murder mystery with necromancers. I did actually find it a bit annoying that the main characters are teenagers. So it has a bit of a YA feel to it, which I'm not a huge fan of because I'm not a huge YA reader. But yeah, I am generally enjoying it. I think once it gets past the insane amount of necromancy lingo, it becomes quite enjoyable. So at this point, I am thinking that I will probably pick up the sequel as well, which I think is called Harrow the Ninth. So yeah, I'm also reading The Paragon Hotel by Lyndsay Faye, which is the October pick for the book club. So we're reading historical fiction this month, and it's set in 1920s Oregon, and it's got like the mafia in it, and it tackles things like race relations, and it just seems generally a very, very good read. I'm only like 2 or 3 chapters into it, and I've been enjoying it so far, so I will definitely finish that one. I will also definitely pick up The Devil and the Dark Water by Stuart Turton. I read The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton last year, and I really enjoyed it. I don't really know much about The Devil and the Dark Water other than that it is set in the 17th century, I think. And it's set on a ship, and it involves a murder mystery. So yeah, I'm super excited for that one. I might also pick up some other historical fiction in October because it is generally a genre that I enjoy, but I don't really have a TBR for it. So I guess I will just pick up whatever I'm in the mood for. So yeah. These were all the books I wanted to talk to you guys about. I'm excited for this channel. I hope you've enjoyed this. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!